Hi, I want to make uh, hopefully a quick video on the subject of how people, it's more like psychology and social interaction, and how people generally respond to you more when you react more. And this is about, I guess, about arguing again. It really boils down to arguing and how you can interact with people and prove points. And when, I guess to a certain extent, you know the idea. You react more, a person knows they can fuck with you more, therefore they're going to fuck with you more the more you react. Unless your reaction leads to them not cause your reaction causes some kind of thing that causes them not you react so much they end up not wanting to react to you. And to a certain extent that can be the case, and to a certain extent it's about the measurement again, and not enough choice, more choice, less choice. um, Proving an argument, you go boil it down so much, the more the person's just going to keep pushing back. The harder you push, the more it's like I have to resist because they're pushing back so hard. So the more you react, the more like an equal and opposite reaction. The more you react, the more they're going to keep on pushing you, and the more you push back, they're going to keep pushing you. It's like, wait, I have to win. I can't have them push me back so hard because they're reciprocating so hard. I can't have them push back. I mean, obviously, it's more a psychological mechanism. That's a metaphor, obviously, to describe the situation. But you know the circumstance. The more, say, bullying, the more you react. And then not just punching them in the face and teaching them a lesson, the more you just cry out and scream and react negatively, the more they're just going to keep doing the same thing because they're garnering a reaction. Generally speaking, obviously, if you want to assume every human being's a jerk, or every jerk, I mean, obviously it takes the bully to begin with for that to be the option. It doesn't mean everyone's a bully, though. It just, you segment out the bullies, or whatever it is. But yeah, the more you screw with people, the more you fight an argument, the more you push an argument. And generally speaking, to a certain extent, the more you use facts, the more a person's going to push back against the facts. How about implementing the facts come off as a little more passive, and proving a point a little more emotionally. That's always good way of getting to people, more than to say A equals B equals C, A plus B equals C. Just say, well, because A, you like A, and since B is your friend, then A and B, could create a better C or something like that. That's a good way of proving a point. You like A and B. And, it's good if we have C for this thing, instead of just saying A plus B equals C, and you should do this, you're an idiot, you're stupid. Um, it's not going to work all the time. It doesn't work with everyone unless you really push it. And if you really push it, sometimes you just say, how dare you say something like that? And it feels like you're punishing them. And sometimes people just get off on this stuff, and sometimes it really genuinely takes the effort of doing something like that to prove someone wrong. Um, Sometimes it takes, you know, punching a hole through the paper with a pencil. Sometimes it just takes a nice little scribble on the front, a soft little message, little emotional message, instead of just writing the hard facts right there with a pen and a pen. Just, you do it with a pencil, so it's not permanent. So you can erase it and you can draw little pictures around it or something, as opposed to a pen where it's like right there and you can't change it. Sort of like people reacting more to pencil drawings than pen drawings. And as opposed to stabbing through the paper and writing, creating tears and drawing a picture with a tear in the paper with the tears. You just stab through it and you make a picture of it, and you tear the paper and create a picture that way, as opposed to that. Sometimes it takes that and it takes the reaction that way, the extreme reaction, or sometimes it just takes a nice. You can't go right in the middle in many cases. You can't go with the pen. Go with a pencil, right? Yeah, go with a pencil more than anything. Um, so yeah, the more you reciprocate to a certain extent, unless you go too far. A person might just walk away, or a person might just say, holy crap, he's right, yes, I'm wrong, okay. You punish them, you say you're wrong, how dare you, like you're saying that the person is, in a way, when you say how dare you say something, you go too far, but it's about emotionally attacking them. You either go too far emotionally, or you go and you attack emotionally, like, yes, buddy, you can do it. Yes, that's the right way of dealing with the problem. Yes, if you do this, yes, and using positive feedback more than negative feedback, that's obviously a good way of dealing with the problem as well. Not always saying, stupid idiot. Say, well, you'd be an idiot if you didn't believe it, right? It's about using subtle language like that, to convince people. It's like you have to say A plus B equals C to describe something. Oh, okay, I get it, I understand. To describe saying the directions to getting somewhere, instead of saying, oh, you got to take a left around the corner of the place over there, and you take a right and a left, you have to say, okay, you take a right here. Okay, then you take a left here. here, you take a left here, and then you take a right here, and you have to be more precise and say, you take a left around the corner of the junction up there, and then you say something like that, or describing something. It's a very simple thing. You make a mistake, then obviously they can use that against you or whatever. Obviously you have a more sinister purpose behind, more deliberate purpose behind that then. But sometimes it takes very precise language. Like instead of positive feedback, instead of saying you're stupid, and I'm just saying you would have to be an idiot not to believe this. Say something more indirect like that, and then people don't take as much offense, especially when it's something that they're emotionally attached to. They can consider it more. And sometimes it's not necessarily emotional attachment. Obviously, emotional attachment can confuse them and make them convince them that they actually believe it. But also, they'll consider he's a nice guy. Maybe I'll consider what he has to say. Even though I believe this, oh, okay, now I looked into it because he was such a nice guy. Even though they can delusionally believe it because they don't have the facts straight, they can actually believe it. They might consider you because you were like, oh, wait, he was nice enough, but he was a little indirect. I can actually pinpoint exactly what he was pointing, and he or she was pointing at. Therefore, I'm going to consider what he said. Okay, I'll look it up because he was nice enough. So, because you being nice or being a little more passive can create a better way of causing a person to at least consider what you're saying, at least understand what you're saying, or understand you could gradually at least get that person to come to your side, understanding what's exactly going on. So it's always about subtlety and how to convince people, you know. And, back to the subject, people fuck with you more when you react. Like bullying and like arguing. They'll screw with you the more you react, the more you present the facts, you get frustrated, people use that against you. And that's always just annoying. You get frustrated. This is the truth. And it's the truth for you. No, it's the truth. And then you start getting angry and looking like the idiot yourself, the desperate idiot yourself. In reality, even if you have the facts on your side, you can look like an idiot. Even though you're the one telling the truth, you can be the one that looks like the idiot. Unfortunately, that's the way it can work. And it's not always a person that's wrong that looks like an idiot. Obviously, they're wrong and they're an idiot by default, but you're going to be the one that looks like an idiot because you're overreacting. And they'll just say, nee, 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 nee. Just going to shake their fingers like this and stick their tongue out and say, screw you. I'm not going to give a damn. Yeah. So it's not going to be much of anything. It's not going to lead anywhere. So yeah, I think that's really all I need to say on the subject. Easy subject. I've mentioned arguing before. It's an easy subject to talk about. Yeah, so I say. Anyway, so if I have anything else to add on this subject, I could always add it in another video. So thank you, and until next time.